Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to Glow with Lola, the podcast for personal growth, wellness, and real life transformation. I'm your host, Lola, sharing my journey, lessons, and tools to help you glow from within, from grief to healing to balancing hormones and self-care. We keep it real, we keep it raw and unfiltered. So grab your favorite drink and get cozy and let's glow together. On today's episode, we have our lovely guest, Mila, who is a very known matchmaker in our community here in Toronto. And as far as I'm aware, you also do matchmaking abroad. In the
Worldwide,
States,
everywhere.
worldwide, whoever
Everywhere.
comes, the doors are open.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I'm super excited to have you here. Thank you for coming.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
I have some beautiful questions to ask you, and I
Excellent.
think you'll be very insightful because the topic relationships is a very hot thing. Everybody's looking for love eventually, one day or another. So I think giving a little bit more of an insight and to know that it is an option. For someone who tried dating websites, there's always a fear that the other person's intentions are not as pure. It's not a secret. I am on your list as well. And coming through you felt more confident because you know there are people that come to you are, first of all, putting themselves on a spot and very real about wanting to find love and doing everything they can. So there's a peace of mind of having you as the middle lady.
The middle lady.
Yeah.
Love recruiter.
Yes,
That's what I
yes,
call
yes.
myself.
I love it. So I wanted to ask you, I know my viewers probably don't know you personally, but they know some of the successful matchmaking that you have done. I wanted to ask you what inspired you to be a matchmaker?
That inspired me. So it's been a journey, like all journeys. I truly believe that the universe pushed me to do this full time. The story is a bit long, but hopefully we have some time.
We have time
to discuss it.
Yes.
I'm going to mention that right now 8 couples are dating, and I'm so excited. So excited. One couple is located in Victoria, BC. Most of the others are here in the Toronto area. Word of mouth has been amazing. That's how we met.
That's
too,
how we
right?
met too. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I just love what I do. I love what I do.
So when did it start for you?
So all the way to 1991 when I moved to Canada in 85 when I was 14 years old. At the age of 19, I decided to go back to a kibbutz. And on the kibbutz, I met my husband. And before leaving back to Canada with my husband, I introduced his brother to my friend. They've been married for 31 years now.
Wow.
Yes. So after their wedding, we moved to Canada. That was my first match, and it got me all excited. Oh, well, I guess I can try again and again and again, right? So once you make such a big impact in somebody's life, it's exciting.
For sure. And before we started recording this episode, we chatted a little bit behind the scenes, and I don't know what it's like to match two people that actually get married and build a life together. So I can only imagine how beautiful it is. I helped someone find a job.
That's right. That's
Not
right.
like a love situation, right?
Still, it's help. It doesn't matter how you help, right? If it's a job, if it's
Absolutely.
a match, if it's anything we can do for other people, that's what I love to do.
I love it. So after matching between them,
We moved to Canada, my husband and I. We weren't married at the time. We got married in 94. So we were here for about a year until we got married. And then both of us started working at a dental supply company. And then one of my clients was speaking to me on the phone and, just kept sharing her frustrations about the dating world. And as I mentioned, for some reason, I thought, hey, we have a guy in the warehouse. He's single, maybe, right? They met. They had 2 girls. They've been together for many years. And many other people went on dates when I was working at the dental supply companies. Again, once, it sparked something in me, right? This is working. Let's do it more and more and more.
Right.
It just became something that I did, right? As mentioned, I started working for a large pharmaceutical company. I was there for 15 years. The third match only happened in 2017. So there was a big
So it's
gap.
been a gap.
Yeah, there was a big gap because I was busy doing all kinds of other things. And it's important to mention that, my father's passing was a big shift. It created a lot of questioning, a lot of looking outside of what we understand, right? So back to the lady that I went to see, the grief counselor or psychotherapist. So I mentioned that I see things when I sleep. A very busy sleep, so I can dream of receiving a letter and the letter's in the box the next day, right? All kinds of stuff like that. I saw a ghost when I went to the bathroom, that type of thing. So she said, instead of telling me, maybe you need some medication because something's off, so she recommended a book. Okay, and the book that was recommended to me was Many Lives, Many Masters. And for the first time I read about, I was 35 at the time. For the first time I read about past lives and all kinds of concepts that I've never heard of before, right? And I'm like, oh wow. So I wanted to explore everything. I went to psychics, I've been in a seance. I haven't tried ayahuasca yet. That's another thing on the list.
Once you become spiritually open, you want to meet as many people as you can who can enlighten and expand your knowledge about spirituality. And the book that you brought me over today is this?
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm excited to read it now.
That's the book that I
love it.
Opened my eyes, my mind, so I always say that even though, the passing of my father was a huge loss, it was a big gift. His passing opened something in me that didn't exist before, or he opened more opportunities for me through this avenue, right? So that was in 2006. And my dad was a big person in the community as well. If you've ever heard of Discovery Gymnastics, he was a gymnastics coach. He had many students, people knew him. And so the people that came to his Shiva were speaking, so
very
highly
highly.
of him. Exactly.
That's beautiful.
And that he helped a lot of people, or he gave money here to help them start a business. And that was something that was always in me as well. So helping people look for jobs, so matchmaking job, doesn't matter what, you need help.
It is a job too. Finding love for other people.
Absolutely.
I'm sure there's a lot that happens behind the scenes, which we'll dive in a little bit deeper.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask, so after you finish your corporate, you were in the corporate world for 15 years.
15 years, that's right.
And then you left it.
So there's a story there too. Okay, so I guess, as mentioned, we were a very close family knit at work.
Yep.
And things were shifting because another management style came in. The boss that we had left, and another boss came. And when you need to make a shift, there's always going to be someone to light your lights, or to wake you up, so that you are aware that you need to maybe potentially do something different, right? So in that time, I was very much interested in spirituality and in photography. I was taking pictures of street signs that are people's first names, and I was creating greeting cards and stuff like that, all kinds of little gifts. And in one of the meetings, my current boss that I had at the time, she goes, when you speak about photography and spirituality, your eyes sparkle. Why aren't you doing this full time? Versus sitting here and not sparkling,
not sparkling, yeah.
in the office, right? So that was the first time that I sort of thought, yeah, that's an interesting thought. Why am I not doing something that I love, right? So leaving such a comfortable and stable job was not an easy task at all, but I did it.
How old were you?
I was in 2014.
I was 15. I know that.
15. I'm embarrassed. Like calculations.
30s, 40s, in your 40s?
40s.
40s.
40s. I'm embarrassed.
No, it's okay. In her 40s, we'll keep it there. To make a career shift in your 40s is a big deal.
That's right. 100%.
So if anyone who is listening to this right now and are not happy about what they're doing, if Mila can get up and change your career, make a career change, you can too.
Right. I can make the calculation. It was 10 years ago.
Okay.
I'm going to be 54, so it was 44.
44.
Approximately.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't have to make such drastic changes.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but
right.
There is something in you that you probably always wanted to do.
Right.
But life is life, and you need to provide for your family, and you need a stability and, to provide for the house. So it would make sense for you to do it in your early years.
Yes.
But eventually, after you get so used to being at that spot, getting up and leaving to do something else is always scary, no matter what age you are. Because I'm also reconsidering my career right now, and it's you question a lot of things in you and your ethics too, right?
Definitely. So just to show you that the universe was very supportive of my decision. When I said goodbye, I was crying that day. 'Cause I'm like, I'm still judging myself. Oh my God, what are you doing? What are you doing? This is a safe night. What are you doing? What is the purpose? So I took the wrong exit by mistake. I was crying,
Missed the exit?
Missed the exit, ended up on Courage Avenue. So for me, that was a very strong message. Everything's okay. You'll be all right. Looking back 10 years 10 years forward, now I know what the path was, how it, all
led you
there. But it was very, very scary. It was very scary.
Are you happy now?
Extremely.
Yeah.
All smiles.
Yeah.
I feel like I've come home. 100%.
You feel fulfilled?
My matchmaking business is home.
Okay.
It's definitely home.
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Yes.
Because I always ask, right now I'm considering to do a shift too. And every person I have a discussion with, I ask them, do you wake up and are you happy to do what
That's
you're
right,
doing?
what you're doing.
And if they say yes or no, that answers whether this industry is for me or not for me.
Right. That's right.
Right? Because you're here to live. You spend 80% of your life at work. So you might as well enjoy what you're doing so it doesn't feel like work.
Exactly.
Right. That's
100%,
beautiful.
100%.
So you've been doing it for 10 years?
No. So there's a story
Okay.
to that too. Right?
Story. I love it.
There's always stories. So as I was leaving the company, I first started with a photography business. Remember, she said photography and spirituality make my eyes sparkle. So photography was the business. I went to a lot of vendor events, selling greeting cards, gifts, and such with names. The street signs that are people's first names. So I really enjoyed that, loved everything that I was doing. But financially, it was a bit of a struggle because, it was a new business. I needed to create everything from scratch. There was nobody else to sort of learn from, right? I had to do it on my own. But I also knew there was going to be a spiritual aspect. I just didn't know what. Okay, so we are going to a Rogers Center for a baseball game. And I speak to God often. It doesn't matter what the name is. It's the energy of that. Helps.
Something above us.
Yeah, it's the energy that helps. We always have some form of help. So I'm asking, okay, so what's next? What's the spiritual aspect of this experience that I'm supposed to experience, right? I look up, spiritual psychotherapy. There's a sign on the subway, right? I'm thinking, oh, interesting. I didn't get excited about the psychotherapy, just the spiritual, right? And I made a mental note. It was the school in the Yonge and Lawrence area. And made a mental note, and off we went to the game. 2 weeks later, a friend of mine has invited me to a course. It's called A Course in Miracles. There's a book. People can look into it if that's something that they want to understand what it is. And every person in the building was a graduate of that spiritual psychotherapy sign from the subway. I know. So I understood I need to go check it out. Check out the school that was, shown to me. So they have, at the time they had, we're talking back 2016 approximately. I kept going into that course. That course was very helpful in the healing process that I needed to have in those years. So I really enjoyed A Course in Miracles. But I went to the school to explore, what is it at the school that I needed to learn. They had 10 courses that had to do with different spiritual modalities. Plus, they had 2 paths to choose. Spiritual psychotherapy, where you can become a psychotherapist in 1 year, or spiritual direction. Okay, and I didn't know what to choose. Last minute, there was a very internal
message calling,
spiritual direction. Go there. So I took the course. It was a 1-year course, once a week. I loved every minute of it. The school was I was never a good student, didn't enjoy school. Here, I felt like I was really at home. I had many experiences while meditating, saw different things, experienced different things. At the same time, where the course was held, it was a holistic center, which closed in 2019, but I got to work there as well. So I got to experience, as I mentioned, the seance, different modalities, different things.
Spiritual practices.
Exactly. Meet all kinds of interesting people. I read a lot of books. And as I completed the education, I became a spiritual director. So the idea is, if you don't belong to a synagogue, a church, mosque, or any other organization or organized religion, but you need to speak to someone about your spiritual journey. There are people who are spiritual directors. It's a newer
beautiful
profession potentially
Mm-hmm.
that's becoming available. So if people need that kind of service, this is also something that I do on the side.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
beautiful.
So that's the spiritual aspect of what I
Mhm.
was supposed to discover.
Right.
And off we go. So the center closed in 2019.
Mhm.
I was working from home. Again, I still kept doing my pictures, my
Yeah.
photography, still learning more and more about how to, deal with the spiritual direction
Mhm.
aspect. But something wasn't progressing fully.
Mhm.
Like I was there and I was not there, type of thing. Financially, it was a struggle, right?
Mhm.
And then in 2022, a friend who I've sent on a date before reached
Mhm.
out and said, "Hey, there was a comedian that came to town. We saw each other at the
Mhm.
event."
Mhm.
And he reached out and he said, "I need help with dating. Do you think you can help me?" Because I've sent him on a date once before. So he remembered. This was
Okay.
a long, long time prior. But this wasn't, I'm sorry, I forgot the third
Match.
match. Yeah, because this is 2022. Back
Yeah.
to 2017.
Yeah.
So because I was doing a lot of vendor events, I got to meet all kinds of interesting people,
Mhm.
vendors of all kinds. And one young lady who also came from Israel and spoke Russian was selling jewelry, and we became friends.
Mhm.
And my friend's son came from Israel to close all business to go back to Israel.
Mhm.
And I introduced them. It was a very fast love story.
Oh, I
They
love
have two
it.
beautiful girls.
Oh.
They're coming to visit soon. So
Oh, beautiful. So they moved back to Israel.
they moved back to Israel.
Yeah.
That's right. So that was
Third
the
match.
third match, exactly,
Mhm.
2017.
And you were still in the photography industry.
Yeah, so mix of photography
Spirituality.
and spiritual direction. But I've never ever thought that I would become a matchmaker. Absolutely, it was not part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah, not
life
part of
is
the plan,
happening-
but
yeah, exactly, life is happening for you, not
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
It's part of the process.
Mhm.
So again, in 2022, a friend reached
COVID
out.
times
Yeah,
past COVID
Past COVID,
Mhm.
2022. Yeah, COVID was not an easy
journey.
journey.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about
Yeah.
the whole because of
Yeah, we
just-
have enough
yeah.
talks in the
Exactly.
politics about COVID right now. So okay.
Exactly. So 2022, he reaches out. I've sent him on a date prior
Mhm.
when it didn't work out, but he remembered. His request was, "Can you help me?" And I
Mhm.
said, "Listen, I don't know anybody, but there's a big Jewish community. There's a big group on Facebook."
Mhm.
So I posted a question: "Hi, looking to help a friend find a girlfriend." And I think over 50 people reached out back to say, "Oh, you're looking for someone, or you're
Mhm.
helping someone? Do you do this
Often.
often? Can you
Mhm.
help me too?" And I thought, okay, great, let's try. Right?
Mhm.
'Cause so many people reached out. So I became a volunteer. So this was
Mhm.
from October until June.
Mhm.
But the amount of people
Yeah.
that reached out, I had to make it, official in some
Mhm.
form. I also was taking a coaching class. So I went back to
Mhm.
that same college
Okay.
after COVID,
Yeah.
and we each were paired up with a coach. So we were
Mhm.
coaching each other. And the
Mhm.
lady who was coaching me was very sweet. And she told me, "You have a talent.
Mhm.
Why don't you make it into a business?" Right?
Mhm.
So Destined to Match was born
Mhm.
on July 1st, 2023,
Mhm.
officially.
Mhm.
And the rest is history.
I love it.
No, it's not the rest.
No, it's
just the
more to
beginning.
come.
More to come.
Absolutely.
More to
So
come.
right now you mentioned you have 8 successful
Successful.
marriages.
No, not
couples.
marriages, just people who are dating.
Okay.
We're a little bit happier. So
Yeah.
we know one couple who got engaged. And we're
Yes,
so excited
we
for
do.
them. I hope
The
they
wedding.
I hope
The
they
wedding
invite me
is
to the
coming
wedding.
up. I hope I didn't get an invite yet too, so I'm sure they will be listening to it.
That's right. So I'm very, very excited
But
for
don't
them.
forget to send your invites. please.
Exactly. We want to come, dance with you at
Yes.
this amazing, amazing event.
Celebrate your love.
Exactly.
And then you said so 8 matches,
8
successful
matches.
matches.
One
Okay.
other couple celebrated a year together.
Oh, beautiful.
2 couples are special needs.
Mhm.
And just
Love is for everyone.
100%. I also
Mhm.
work with the LGBT community.
Mhm.
I work with special need adults,
Mhm.
and either Jewish or
Mhm.
not Jewish, doesn't matter. Everybody's welcome.
Mhm.
If I'm meant to
Help you.
them find the person, it will happen.
Yeah.
Of course, it happens that people reach out and we're not
Mhm.
successful. But I hope that every interaction with
They
me,
learn.
they learn something, or that I help them in some other way,
Mhm.
right? Spiritual or not, right?
Everybody deserves love.
100%.
That's beautiful.
It's very challenging to find sometimes because
Absolutely.
we have so many choices. I think that's the problem.
That's the problem.
So many apps.
You're absolutely right.
So it's a bit hard to, where do you go? How do you do it?
Yeah.
So help is required, and it's
Mhm.
okay. Just like sometimes you need a job recruiter.
Yeah.
You can hire a love recruiter.
That's so true. I love it. I wanted to ask you, how do you handle clients with unrealistic expectations? Do you get those?
Sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a discussion, and because every one of us has an energy print, just like we have a fingerprint. We all have an energy print. So my job as a matchmaker is to find the energy print that matches. That's how I do it. That's how I feel. You know, obviously sometimes it doesn't work that way, right? But that's my goal, is to try to see if I can understand the match that way, right? That's what I do. So a lot of times I try to not influence, convince, give this person a chance. Maybe, even if it's doesn't check off all your boxes, right? But give it a try. So sometimes I do encourage. It doesn't always work out. They don't always listen to me, but that's how it works. So,
okay. What common mistakes do people make when they're dating? In your opinion,
it's not mistakes per se. High expectations.
Like what? What can we elaborate? So for those who are listening, maybe revisit your list of expectations that you have. So if let's say you paired someone right now, and right now you have 8 successful couples that are dating, but those who were unsuccessful and dated for a year, not a year, a month or 2.
That's right. It's not a matter of unsuccessful. Just sometimes it's chemistry. That's the biggest thing. People do judge based on pictures, unfortunately, and sometimes they don't give those people a chance. That might be a really good match, but the picture is not always just the only way to
tell if the person will be for you. For chemistry, do you think, how many dates does it take to know if you're...
For some people, it could be immediately, right? From the first moment that they meet, that they know this is the person I want to meet. I love the stories where people share in the old days. I knew she was going to be my wife.
The one. She's going to be the one.
That's right. That's right. So sometimes it's very fast.
Yeah.
For some people, it's like the first dates they met immediately. They said, we loved it. It was great. And they continue. So for some people, it's 5 dates. For some people, it's, a couple months.
Did you have couples where there was no chemistry on the first date, but they went on a second date and then they changed their mind?
Yes.
Okay. So that's the first message of the day is
definitely.
If you are seeing someone, don't think if you're ready to marry the person after one date. Think if you're willing to see him for the second time and discover and learn more about the person, right? Because you can't get a person's side from just one date. Either they might be nervous, or 100%. the setting was not it. We all go through something in life, so they might be going through something they're not willing to share yet. But just ask yourself after each date, are you interested enough to see that person for a second date? And then after a second date, ask yourself if you're willing to see them for the third. Right? And then hopefully chemistry will be there, or the person interested you enough. That's the word.
Interested in you, or
interest
you.
Interest you enough to see them for another date.
Communication is definitely the most important part, I feel.
Especially nowadays. A lot of misunderstanding through texting.
Exactly. Yes. So I always say, don't text as much. Have a conversation on the phone, because I feel that people can misread the texture, right? Because
absolutely. The tone of voice. You think they're yelling at you, but they're not yelling at you.
Exactly.
I love it.
So I always feel that speaking on the phone is best.
Absolutely.
Try to start with that.
Phone call. That's how I do it. If I meet with someone, first thing, let's do a phone call.
Right.
I want to hear your energy. I want to hear your tone of voice. Yes. What's going to come up when we talk, right? Texting is not enough. Yes. And what looks good on the chapter might not be so good. So never judge a book by its cover.
That's right. And some people are not as photogenic. The
Absolutely.
picture may not be as good.
Yeah.
I always try to coach them to say, choose another picture maybe if they provide pictures that are not as good, potentially, right? And I work with a photographer who sometimes comes and suggests better pictures. But so absolutely. I find that the picture is like your resume, and the date is the job interview, I guess.
Okay.
In a sense, right? And then if you get the job, I guess.
It's by how you look. Attraction.
Exactly.
Now, How can someone,
Yep.
I know after COVID, we're not going to go into detail, but after COVID and social media, everyone became less confident in putting themselves out there, going outside, meeting people, even friends. We're going to talk about love life, but
That's right.
as simple as making friends or attending social events from work.
Right.
And I know, at least in my work environment, 50% of the team, they have social anxiety.
Yeah, I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Many people
So how can you suggest someone to build confidence in the dating life?
There are many different events that you can go to in the Jewish community. There's a whole bunch happening all the time. So I guess maybe just to, even if there's not going to be any success, just to go talk to people. If you enjoy running, if you enjoy hiking, if you have specific
Hobby,
hobbies,
interest.
thank you. Join different groups if you like bowling. You know, just to be a little bit more around people and get to know people. Ask others to introduce you to people. You know,
Absolutely.
even for, not just for dating, but for, you know.
It's one thing saying you want your love life or you're ready to meet your love life and then putting it out there.
That's right.
To your surroundings.
You have to be proactive and
Absolutely.
you have to have some sort of action, you know, every day.
I agree. I think for dating, I know before I came to you, I didn't do a lot of dates, but now I've done so many that you build, like I'm not even nervous anymore to go on it. It's you just go and do it and you have a conversation.
That's right.
But it's definitely if you feel like you're more shy to have dinner with that person, maybe do like an activity like go bowling or go on a walk outside, do like something with art related, be more creative. Maybe going to the movies is not the first option because you don't get to
really
know the
that's
person
That's
as not enough.
That's right.
But I think maybe on the third date or fourth date where you're trying to build intimacy, that's a cute place to go to and check it out.
That's right.
But it definitely passes through. So building, I think.
Or even going for a coffee, it's okay too.
Yeah.
Right?
But I feel like coffee is not intimate enough.
Not intimate? Maybe.
Yeah.
Depends on the place.
Depends on the place for sure. Because if it's like daytime, it's not romantic enough.
That's right.
And then if it's, I don't drink coffee at night. So that's let's go grab tea. So I'm like,
a beverage.
Yeah, a beverage, a cocktail.
That's right.
So then if you don't connect, you can get up and leave easily, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't feel less because the whole dinner,
it is a longer process. That's right. But I always want to emphasize, be kind to the person, you know.
Absolutely.
Don't you know.
Where everybody gets nervous.
That's right.
Right,
exactly.
The masculine and the feminine, they both get intimidated.
That's right.
And those who, if you think they're not, they are.
Yeah.
Just be aware that as much as you're nervous, someone else is nervous as well. So respect that. And what's the worst that can happen? You're never going to see the person again, right? Or you might.
Honesty is the best policy.
Absolutely.
I always say, you know, it was really nice meeting you, but I don't think we're a good match.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
and I think declaring it too is very important,
right?
Because then you're wasting everybody's time.
Exactly.
Right. 100%. And time is valuable for a lot of us.
That's right.
Now, I wanted to ask you, what's the best matchmaking story you have?
So, as I was coming here, I don't want to share too many matchmaking because I want to keep their
privacy.
Every story is unique, wonderful, beautiful. I'm so excited that, you know, when they send me a message, we're going to continue meeting, you know, we're going out again. So there's nothing more exciting than that. Yeah,
and do you reach out to them or they reach out to you?
So to give me an update.
Yeah.
So after a date, you know, I usually ask, how did it go? You know, both sides. So if the answer is great, we're meeting again, then, you know, I'm so excited. I usually ask them to give me a little bit more because I don't want to bother them constantly. So how did it go? Right? So they know to send me a message. Great. So we're going out again. Fourth time, fifth time, sixth time. You know what I mean? It's been a month. It's been 2 months.
I love it. And what is the process? So if someone, let's say they're going to listen to this podcast and they're looking for the love of their life. They want to step their game.
Right.
You know, their friends are great, but they're not helpful or, you know, either they're taken or just not the appropriate match for them. And the dating, Hinge, Tinder, is not working.
Exactly.
How can they approach you? What will be the process?
So I'm on Facebook. I'm a little bit older, so I prefer Facebook.
Yeah.
I'm on Instagram, not really using it much, but I'm there. I have presence. The best thing to do is to send me a message, either WhatsApp, texts, Messenger. And I ask everybody to join my database.
Right.
So I have a free database where people are welcome to join. If you feel that you need more help aside from the database, but to hire me, to help you full time, then there's a cost involved in the process. I usually say that it's a good time to do this for a year. So hire a matchmaker for
1 year.
For 1 year. And,
in the process, you ask them. So anyone who, even if you join the database, or is there a different process? Like you ask them questions?
Yes. So the database, I give you a certain amount of questions. You fill them out and you send it over to me.
Can we elaborate on the questions? I think they'll be curious a little bit to know.
Basic stuff. Height, age. What do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? Do you have deal breakers?
So there's a few questions that you do ask your potential matches.
That's right.
And
so again, there's a database, free database where people can join.
Be on the list?
Not be on the list. The database,
okay.
Right? And those who hire me. So I only have time to, so many people reach out, I only have time to dedicate to those who hire me,
you, of course.
Right? So when I'm hired, I have a Zoom call with the person to get to know them a little bit better. And every month I sort of do the same process. I check my database because people are joining constantly. I reach out to other matchmakers who I work with behind the scenes. Or there are some other matchmakers in the city. So I do that every month. I post on Facebook, different, posts.
Different groups.
Or on my page where I say.
And just so you guys know, it's very confidential.
Yes,
you don't disclose name. You just put age and I guess top two that they're interested in.
A couple things.
Points.
A couple points that would be, of value.
No photos are disclosed to the public. It's very confidential.
Yes.
And then, so you reach out to the person who hires you first.
Right.
If they're interested in someone, you reach out to the other person.
Usually I ask the ladies first, then the guys get to see the information. So if you say yes, the other
then
side
you
yes,
share.
Then I share, exactly. And then
I love it.
Yeah, and many matchmakers actually go through the process of helping you with the date, setting up the date, but I don't do that. I just let
the couples
continue on their own. And then I always ask for feedback. Did you enjoy the date? Is this someone you'd like to see again? Right? If not, that's okay. Again, be respectful. No ghosting.
For sure.
That you're meeting, and then we continue. If this is not the person, we reach out. We continue. So every month, again, I'll do the same thing. Database.
And one of the things that you ask in the questions is the deal breaker. Right. And I feel like you need to know how to answer that question yourself first, because that will tell you what you're looking for, right? Because some people, they want love, but they don't know what they're looking for. And then they get frustrated with the whole process because they can't answer that simple question. So maybe, going through a matchmaker who can guide you, especially, I feel like those individuals who don't have a role model at home, their parents, if they're divorced or not a successful love life in their household, there's no one for you to look up to. That's right. So you need to rewrite your whole story, right? And you can, right? That's what we're here for. We're here to fix the generational curse, and I know that's for myself for sure. So then having someone like you, Mila, who they go to you and you can help them rewrite their whole love experience.
I find that sometimes people just come for a confidence boost.
Yeah.
That's what's lacking.
Yeah.
And it's just, I aim to introduce you to people who you may not cross paths with ever otherwise, unless you come through me, right?
Yeah.
So that's the intent.
Yeah.
Of course, sometimes it happens because we are not a big community after all, right? So sometimes it happens where people come through who, I know them already, but still, there are success stories. So
I love it. I wanted to ask you, what's the biggest reason why people stay single?
The biggest reason?
In your opinion?
In my opinion? Just not finding the right person. I don't want to say the words picky because that's not right. Everybody has certain criteria or certain preferences.
Some people
yes
choose to be single. I choose to be single.
Okay.
I chose to be single for a long time. And I feel like when I go on dates and they ask you, when was your last relationship?
Right.
And you're like, well, when I was in school, I chose not to date. I chose to focus on school.
That's right.
And then life happened and I had to take care of someone else.
Of course.
And after life happening again, I was emotionally unavailable to be in a relationship. So then that was my choice of being single. But some individuals who are, I don't want to say spiritually open, but more sensitive and more aware, would respect and appreciate your decision. It doesn't mean that something is wrong with you for being single for that
There's nothing wrong.
for a long period of time, right? But you actually make that choice yourself. But when you do decide, for me at least, when you do decide to start dating and, you know, potentially finding your other half, you're finding your love and feel loved, a partner in life,
have a romantic experience with.
Absolutely.
Right?
I think you need to you need to put yourself out there. You need to put yourself on maybe try the dating sites. Sometimes it works. Like some people find a match on Hinge and Tinder and all the dating sites out there.
That's right.
Some find it through their friends.
Exactly.
But if you don't tell your friends that you're looking, how would they know, right? Or like they would have you in the back of their mind, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or have like a matchmaker too who can help you as well. If you're someone who's very busy and you don't have time to go to a bar and wait for like a pickup line, right? Maybe like finding someone who can do it for you and connect you with another individual who might be fit for you.
That's right. Unfortunately, you know, it's not 100% success story.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, some people, you know, need to hear that, right? But we do our best, you know, and I believe in that everything is happening as it needs to, right?
For sure.
If the person needs to meet their partner through a matchmaker, that's what's going to happen.
Have you had someone who came, so they were matched and then it wasn't successful? Did they come back again?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So if somebody finished their 1 year process, right, and they liked dealing with Mila, or you know, because I have Zoom calls sometimes, not just to talk about you know, the dating process. Sometimes people just need other conversations that to get them to that point where they're confident to go back into the dating game. So I have had a couple people who came back for a second time.
And did you have someone who like renewed, like after 1 year, they renewed for another year?
That's right. That's right. Because I only started in July of 2023, so we're still in the process of the second year sometimes with some, right? So,
and is your database big now? Have it increased?
It's growing and it's growing. I don't even know. I don't count. Right? And word of mouth has been amazing. So it's growing and growing, and I'm every day in gratitude for doing this.
I love it. What do you think the number one mistake women make when they're dating?
A mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake. Again, maybe judging too soon that this person is not for them, you know, without taking the time to invest a little bit time.
Guilty over here. I know for me, I'm too quick to judge because you think there's no way we can build a life together. That's the first thing that come to my mind. And then I came across a video on TikTok. I know everybody, like, there's a lot of hate on social media, but you know, there are some really great messages out there. If it resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't, leave it. And someone said, stop thinking if you're ready to like build a family with them. See, are you interested enough to see that person for a second time?
That's right.
Right. So if that's your way of thinking, let's reword it and start looking at it differently now.
Right. Exactly.
Right.
That's right.
So too quick to judge. And then what about men? Are men quick to judge too?
Yes, I would say, again, a lot of times it's based on looks in the picture. You don't really take the time to meet and get to know the person that's there. Different situations, you know. But again, bottom line, if there's no chemistry, it's not going to go anywhere, right? So the chemistry is a very important,
big one.
Big one. Yes, that's always an important piece of the puzzle.
Right.
And on a spiritual level, there are certain people you need to meet for the purpose of having a relationship. So we want to ensure you get to meet those specific people.
So when you have someone, when you think of a potential match, right, you send a message to the lady first.
Right.
And what do you share with her?
The picture, the information.
So it's one picture or two, right? Not,
2, 3, something.
you don't get a catalog.
No catalog. 1 or 2, usually. It's usually a face. People want to see the eyes. The eyes are always, show a lot about
to the soul.
Exactly. So the eyes, so no glasses, obviously, and then the full body picture, because everybody asks for that type of picture. And those are usually the 2 pictures that we share.
And do you share anything else, like any questions or anything?
I get to know the ins and outs of, I guess, so let's take you as an example. You give me what is important to you. So obviously I will focus that, so he's, A, B, C, D. So that's going to be my focus. This is what you wanted to potentially meet in the person. So that's what I'm going to share with you about him.
Right.
The selling point.
The selling point.
Exactly.
Got it.
He's intelligent. He's tall.
Yeah.
If I can make those
of
comments.
course.
He's intelligent. He's tall. Open-minded.
Yeah.
Spiritually.
Not religious.
Not
for
religious.
me.
Exactly.
Yeah, because if he's religious and I'm not religious, it's not going to go. It never goes.
Exactly. Spiritually interested, right? A deep thinker, smart,
right.
and that can potentially raise a family, extended family too.
I love it.
Right?
So second message is don't be too quick to judge.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Just
give
see,
an opportunity. Sometimes
absolutely.
people actually ask me, why are you recommending this specific person? And sometimes I can't explain it, right? Where I feel that there might be a connection here that, so a lot of times when I recommend, I feel it internally as well. Like it's an intuitive, sometimes it's not always like that, but sometimes it is.
Do you tend to follow your intuition more often now?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. More so. So again, let's say I feel a certain energy print from you, right? And I don't understand where the energy print is, or where is that energy for you outside in a male suitor, right? And then suddenly I meet someone, let's say I'm going shopping, or, I'm like, oh, this energy really feels like.
Would you
so-and-so.
approach someone?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe I haven't had to do it yet, but maybe I would, right? Because, oh my God. So I went to buy shoes. There was a person who was handling the sale. He was special needs. And I have someone who I'm helping right now. If I feel that this energy might be okay with the person I'm helping, of course I will say, hey, I will ask the questions. Are you single? Gently. I'm not going to,
jump on someone.
Just very gently. Are you single? I'm a matchmaker. Here's my card. I may be able to help you. And potentially I'm thinking, if he's supposed to meet this person through me, something in him will acknowledge that, right? And he will use that number to call me, right?
Right.
Like from a higher
So you make the first move, but you wait for them to reach back.
Yes. So this is a business where I don't go promoting myself, pushing myself, hire me, you need me. No,
right.
I wait for people to come to me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I
love it.
I don't promote other than, the posts, the word of mouth, this kind of process, right? But other than that.
Good thing we have social media.
Yes.
Right.
Thank God for social media. And my business was created
through social media. Right.
100%. Yes.
I love it. So they can reach you majority on Facebook.
So Facebook, Instagram. If I'm slow to answer on Instagram, I'm sorry. I just always forget.
Yeah, but the best place I think for you is Facebook.
Facebook is my priority. Preference. I'm sorry.
Preference. And if someone, I will tag your Facebook page if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
And what is the Mila?
Mila Tsur. TZUR.
Okay. Yeah. So then if they're looking to find their love life, they can go there.
Yes.
Is there anything you want to talk about to cover in this?
Just be open. If you're looking for a partner, you do need I feel that actions are required. You can't just stay at home and he will find me. You have to be proactive. If it's joining hiking groups, do things that you enjoy, that might attract other people who have similar interests. Ask your friends to introduce you, and use a matchmaker. There are many of us available. So, and always hire the one you feel most connected with.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, and hopefully everyone will find their love whenever it comes. It takes
Everybody
time.
does. Everybody
Yeah.
does. I feel that, again, from a spiritual perspective, there are people, souls that are out there that we are supposed to meet for the purpose of a spiritual, romantic interaction. Okay, so they're coming all the time, but we have the choice to make, if we want to interact with them, if we want to have that connection, right? So
I remember someone reached out to me on Instagram when I started Glow with Lola, and she mentioned, I shared a post, and then she said, how do you look so positively on love, on relationships? And I asked her, first thing I asked her, I don't know what's your experience with love, because everybody go through different experiences. Some are more abusive, some are more what love is on that, for that stage or for that time, right? Because you're not what's the word, they say you have 3 loves in your life.
okay,
The
Just
early
3?
one, well, they say 3 different experiences about love.
Okay.
The first one is the one that you had no idea what love is,
Okay.
right? The second one is you realizing what you like and you don't like. And then the third love, it comes in quietly, sneaks upon you. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen that
haven't seen
post?
that,
I'll
no.
share that with you. It's beautiful.
Nice.
But we all, upbringing from your childhood,
That's
if
right.
you're dating in your early teens, you don't know anything about love.
That's right.
Right. And I know when I was 15, I would not sit with my parents and ask them questions about how they met. I would do it in my early 20s,
That's right.
but not when I'm 15, 16. So you don't know anything about love.
Right.
And then you started seeing someone. So you basically started learning what you like and what you don't like for what you knew
Right.
for that age.
That's right.
Then the second love is more, you're in the mental capacity. The
Right.
brain doesn't develop anymore, hopefully after 21. And you started dating, but then you realize what you like and you don't like, right? And then if things kind of end, you heal. It's really important. A lot of people don't understand they need to heal before they move on to another relationship. It's not fair for the second person. I think both men and female tend to want to be the fixer. Take someone as a project and fix them and make them better for you. You're not anyone's mom. And if it's someone's job, it will be a therapist, more guided therapist,
For sure.
because
For sure.
when you pour water towards someone else constantly, you are left empty, right? Your heart, you can't give, like there's so much you can give to someone else,
That's
right?
right. For
So
sure.
focus on healing. And and I met a lot of people who were grieving and lost a lot of people in their life and jumped into a relationship
Right.
where it wasn't healthy, and the other person came out more screwed than they before that relationship.
Right.
So be aware
Yes.
of what you're doing. If you're feeling lonely, it doesn't mean that another person will fix your loneliness, because you can be in a room full of people and still feel lonely,
Exactly.
right?
100%.
So healing first,
Absolutely.
figure out what you want out of life. Change your perspective, right? The way you look at love. If you say, how can you look so positively on love? Red flag. Something is wrong. Fix it, heal it, read more books, do more sessions, more therapy sessions, and then put yourself on the market, make yourself available
Yeah.
for someone else, and then see how things change, right? Because sometimes it just doesn't work.
Good advice.
Yeah, I think it's, everybody is looking for love. Everybody wants to have that person to go to sleep with. And if you don't, absolutely fine too, right?
That's right.
You need to enjoy your single life while you can, because it's a different dynamic
It is.
once you meet someone. I wanted to wrap up this lovely episode with our lovely guest, Mila, who have a beautiful sweater on called Hopeless Romantic. So I think we should all add a little bit hopeless romantic in our lives. But thank you guys for listening. If you love this episode, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Wherever you're listening, it's available on all podcast platforms out there, as well as YouTube.